and entrepreneur straight out of New York City, Michael Chernow. What's cracking?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Creatures of Habit Podcast. Today is another solo cast, and I'm going to ramble a little bit in this one, but I want to start off with a quote that has me thinking a lot from the founder of the North Face, Doug Tompkins. I was watching a documentary probably about a month ago, and in the documentary, there was a quote that Doug said that really just struck such a chord for me. And he said, "Pain is the rent we pay for living on earth." Pain is the rent we pay for living on earth. That can mean so many different things. It can mean so many different things. And it applies to every living thing. Every living thing experiences pain. There's no way around it. I believe that happiness is a ramification of our ability to withstand to and respond well to pain. I believe that if we allow pain to dictate our outcomes, we run the risk of not experiencing joy. And so you guys know me for really this morning routine habit guy. Also business person and dad and athlete. But so many people ask me why do I have such a intense, structured, through some lenses, hard morning routine. And the truth of the matter is because I actually like doing all those things. I like doing them. I like doing all the things that I do, most mornings. And also I also give myself a break when I want to. But I really do enjoy doing all these things in the morning that for some would seem very arduous and not something that most people would want to do. However, I really do like them. And what does stacking up all these habits in the morning do for me on a regular basis? I expose myself to pain. And that doesn't mean that like physical pain necessarily. That means that every single morning I am committed to fighting the fight for better. Because I could do what most people do, which is stay in bed a little bit longer and wake up and like rush to get out of the house. But I choose not to do that because I genuinely enjoy it. And I think what the part of this podcast that I'm trying to portray here is I have learned to love, embrace, and enjoy pain and challenge and hardship because I know that it makes me more conditioned to when life throws it my way, so that when it comes my way, it doesn't really affect me as much as it does for someone who doesn't expose themselves to that stuff on a regular basis. And so I think it's made me a happier human. It's made me a happier person. I don't know really if we have enough data on cold plunge or infrared sauna or red light therapy. I don't know if we have enough hard data, long-term human study on these things. I just know that when I do them, I feel better. I just know that when I work out really hard, I feel better. And when I feel better, I'm a better human being. And so when I heard that quote, pain is the rent we pay for living, it really resonated with me because for me, living ideally is happiness. And so we pay rent through pain in order to be happy. And so if you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, is there one thing or are there a few things that I could start doing to get into this mindset of let me challenge myself every single day. It's not like once a week or twice. It's like, let me challenge myself every single day consistently. Let me build some consistency there so that consistency and commitment and discipline builds confidence. I think you guys have heard me saying a little bit over the last couple of months, this, commitment and discipline done consistently ultimately builds confidence, and confidence builds courage, and courage is necessary for greatness. So if you're wondering if there's a few things that you can do that could potentially get you into this mindset of let me challenge myself every single day. The first one that I would suggest doing, and it seems so easy, but it's actually hard as hell, is smiling in the morning first thing. Wake up in the morning and first thing you do is smile. From ear to ear, smile, and go right into a mental gratitude list. It is super hard. It's actually really hard. Honestly, sometimes so hard that I just don't want to do it. Like literally, I'm like, I just don't want to do this because it's hard, because emotionally I'm not in a place to want to smile necessarily right upon waking. But I also know that challenging myself with forcing the smile is going to make me better. It's just obvious. You can start your day anxious or force yourself to smile and start your day with a smile and hold that smile long enough until you actually start to feel the smile internally. Start there. Start, doing some push-ups in the morning, It could start with 1, start with 2, 3, add a push-up every week if you can, add a push-up every day if you can. Challenging yourself in the morning, for me, and I can only speak from my experience, and you guys know that, at this point, if you've been following along my journey, it's not that I don't care what other people do, because I do. I care deeply about other people, and I also learn a lot from other people, but I can only share my success from my experiences with you. I am here to tell you that my success starts every single morning. It just does. And if I'm good, if I nail it, if I commit in that morning, the chances of me getting to my evening routine and being successful there are far greater. Because I do believe how you finish is going to paint a good picture of how you start. And so, but to get to that finish line in a positive way, you definitely want to start strong. And so I would just argue to say that a morning routine is very, 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 very important. And it really does help me live that mantra. Pain is the rent we pay for living. So the smile in the morning is something I highly recommend. If you're trying to just find one thing just to potentially, have discipline around, smile first thing in the morning, big shit-eating grin, big huge fat smile. It's going to feel cheesy. It's going to feel weird. You're not going to want to do it. But it works. Smile, mental gratitude list. And then hit the floor and do push-ups. And if you can't do push-ups, with your knees up, do push-ups with your knees down. But start doing something hard. Start doing something hard in the morning, and then that is going to grow. That is going to grow, and it's going to build confidence. And then, and I've got a podcast that I've dropped, a solo cast, where I go through my whole entire morning routine. So I'm not going to waste your time on this one talking about that. But I've had a few friends reach out to me recently and said, hey, Chernow, like, if you had to choose a few things that could really help me get going in this morning routine mindset thing, what are some easy ones not hard ones, not the sauna, the cold plunge, the reading and the writing. Like I'm not going to do that every morning necessarily to start, but like, are there a few small little things that I can just do? And I would say, like, I'll give you one more. And this one is, again, it's for me, right? But, I'm not a religious guy. I have a deep connection with God and a higher power. I don't belong to any organized religion now, anyway. Who knows what the future beholds? But I pray every morning and I ask for guidance and help. And the reason why I do that is because I was told to do that early on. But also, we as humans are conditioned to think that we can do it all by ourselves. And when we feel that way, I think inherently when we're sort of like, or maybe not inherently, but like we are taught potentially early on that like we should be self-sufficient and we should learn how to do all these things. And that ultimately leads us to believe that we don't need to ask for help, right? So a lot of us are shy to ask for help. A lot of us feel like asking for help is a sign of weakness. And so I was told early on when I changed my life, 19 years ago or so, that I have a hard time asking for help. And the best way to start asking for help in my life is to ask God. Ask God for help, develop a relationship with God and ask God for help and guidance. And so I've been doing that. And honestly, if you asked me what God was what was God for, I wouldn't know what to tell you. It's no objective thing for me. It is literally, I pray every morning and I ask for guidance and I ask for help and I ask for strength for myself and strength for my loved ones. And so those three things, smile, prayers, and push-ups. Those are my absolute daily morning routine non-negotiables. Those are my non-negotiables. There's not a day that goes by that I don't bang those three things out and feel really, really good about doing them. And they're all challenging. They're all hard. None of them are easy. And they're all painful. They're not painful necessarily in like, ow, that hurts pain, but it is painful forcing yourself or committing to something that is not coming naturally to you. Right? Like naturally, we'd probably want to sleep longer. Naturally, we'd want to kind of like, slowly get our day going. But the truth of the matter is attacking the day with things that are going to ultimately make you better, in my opinion, is the way to do it. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It doesn't matter how many people are going to break your chops about it. People like kind of roll their eyes at me about the things that I do. Oh, God, this guy cold to this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. I am. I like doing it. It makes me feel good. It's hard. It's really challenging every single morning to do it. And when I don't want to do it, I actually don't. But most days I do. And I'm a better human being for it. So I also want to share one last thing that is totally off topic, but I think it's important to share because it's something that I'm going through that I've just experienced in my life. And an old friend of mine just had an unbelievably catastrophic thing happen in his life where he lost his son, passed away, 7-year-old son. Totally freak accident. And he woke up Saturday morning, beautiful Saturday day, Saturday at 5:30, said he had a headache, went into a seizure, cardiac arrest, and his son died. And that sent shockwaves through my system and all of my friends who know this person. Obviously, we're all deeply affected by this. And that says to me, pain is the price we pay for living. And sometimes that pain is way too much to bear. And we have to learn to put things into perspectives when things happen like that. Every single second counts. Every single second counts in this life. Every second, all of them. That incident made me want to hold my sons so tight and just know that we need to cherish every single second. And quite frankly, that is why I attack life the way I do. So learn from this podcast or take something from this podcast. If you have not been spending the time with your loved ones that you should be spending, or if you have a bump in the road with a human being that you should not have a bump in the road with, if you're a parent and you're battling with your kids, or you're working too much and you're not spending enough time with your kids, I really would empower you and encourage you to think about that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about love. And we make decisions in our lives in the name of love most of the time. When we're working really, really hard and we're cuffing and we're working and we're hustling and we're grinding, it's for love, because you want to provide for yourself and your family, and you want great things for everyone, when you're grinding like that. But at the end of the day, if the grind is taking you away from the interaction with the family, then is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? I felt like I needed to end on that, because it's been an intense week for me, thinking about my dear friend who lost his first son, and my deepest condolences go out to him. And if you know who he is, you know he's a wonderful human being, and it's terrible. So anyway, sorry to end on a somber note, but I thought it was important, especially we're talking about it. I started this podcast, with this idea that pain is the rent we pay for living. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And do me a favor. If you like this podcast, share it with someone who you actually think could use it. And share it with your friends and your families anyway, but it would be amazing if you could pass this off to someone that you think could potentially use a little kick in the butt in all the things that we talked about today in the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it's been. I appreciate you. I love you. Until the next one, y'all. Peace.